I liked a lot of things that we saw. You know, obviously everybody got to play, and I thought our first half, you know, we had a really strong first half, and you know, just being able to get out there and you know, kind of put the pieces together and the rhythm and different matchups, and you know, I thought our effort was really good. Some really positive things to build upon, and then some things to be able to work on.
Questions?
All right, Coach. You know, you played this group in Taiwan. This is the first time you know you get these players together. How helpful was it to have these exhibition games before the season starts with just this group?
Yeah, you know, really helpful. I thought, you know, obviously I think they seemed a lot more comfortable and confident when you look at, you know, a lot of the bigger roles they're going to be taking upon themselves this year. You know, having a freshman and a sophomore at the point position. You know, I think between Taiwan and now these two exhibition games are going to have been really helpful for us to get us ready for the real thing.
What did you see of the contributions at point guard today?
Yeah, you know, she was really poised. You know, when you talk about, you know, she shot the ball extremely well, the positive assist to turnover ratio. Normally, I think, you know, sometimes you get freshmen that present a little bit more, you know, with some nervousness. And I thought she, you know, came in and was really confident and kind of commanded the team.
Coach, you had like a lot of pressure to start the game at different times in the game. Is that something we're going to see a lot of this year, like just the trapping and things of that nature? Yeah,
you know, we want to be able to throw a lot of different looks, you know, defensively. So we were working on a lot of that today, you know, just, you know, because I do think based off of different combinations, you know, we're able to kind of give some different zone press, man press, different things. So, and in order to do that, we have to be in really good shape. So we're not all there yet. We're going to build to that, and then I think we can do a lot more things.
This is a question for Blair and Steph. Both of you last year had injuries coming into the season. How much easier is it to prepare now that you guys are healthy for this year?
You want to start?
Yeah. All right.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I guess being healthy is just something that is a blessing, and you kind of look back on how hard it was coming in and being injured, but having our teammates with us and pushing us along the way and giving us that positive reassurance that you're going to be healed and you're going to be where you need to be is something that we took very, very strongly.
Yeah, to piggyback off what she said, just the fact that you don't really have to worry about it. It's not really like at the back of your mind anymore this year, and you can just go out there and play and give it all.
For both of you, what kinds of takeaways did you get, especially team chemistry from these exhibition games?
I think that with these exhibition games, like we're just building our chemistry and like getting our flow from Taiwan back, and we're just getting better each day, every practice.
I definitely say our conditioning is getting there too. They're subbing in 5 players at a time, and we're just keep pushing and keep going, and that's, I think, something that we can really take away from our exhibition games.
I guess one last question for Coach. With that shorter, with less players on the roster this year, how much more is conditioning and emphasis in the past? Because your teams always like to run, but now it's less players you have.
Yeah. You know, it's going to be huge. You know, I think they all understand that they have to be ready when their number's called, you know, because different situations are going to present itself if you're in some foul trouble. And, you know, that conditioning level is what they're trying to build up for. So you can play a 40-minute game at a really, really high level. So it's critical for our success this season.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful day, another edition of The Focus. We got Octavia White here, it's Cardell Dudley, I'm Wilson Tarpey. We also got Dama over there a little bit off camera, but, you know, that's the gift guy. He is here. He is present and accounted for. So as the video, you know, we just showed you guys, it's officially college basketball season, essentially. Teams around the country, if they haven't already started getting exhibitions underway. A couple notes on the 2017-2018 Maryland Terrapins, the women's team that is. It's going to be different for them this year. They lost all-world center Brianna Jones, sharpshooting Shatoria Kipper Walker. She's on the Mystics. Brianna Jones on the Connecticut Sun. So they're a smaller team. They're taking small ball kind of to another level this year. Kyla Charles is playing the 4. Yeah, she's playing the 4. Stephanie Jones, Brianna's little sister, is going to spend some time at the probably the 3, 4, and the 5. This year you got Bree Frazier, who's the tallest player on the team at 6'3". She's more of a stretch 4, face up big, and she's probably going to be the starting center. Brendan Freeze was trying a lot of different combinations. It's just an exhibition game, so we won't really get to know who's doing what till the first game of the season. But one thing that I did see, we didn't see a lot of last year, they're kind of off a whole bunch of trapping, a whole bunch of pressure, trying to use their size and their speed to their advantage to force turnovers, speed teams up. And she made a great point at the end of that press conference talking about the team's not yet in the type of condition she would like them to be in. And at Maryland, you know, the 3 staples for them is defend, rebound, and run. So if they're not in the condition she would like them to be at this moment, I mean, that's crazy. That means they got to do that much more. Like, it's going to be that much more running. They go about 10 deep. And again, they only have really 2 bigs, and both of them are kind of 4s. So, I mean, the good part is defensively, they get to switch everything. It's going to be fun. The bad part is when they play, you know, traditional bigs, it's going to be kind of interesting. And, you know, foul trouble is going to come into play this year. There's going to be a lot of subbing. So it'll be interesting to just see how things go this year for them. Only played 1 exhibition game, which they handled easily. We're not going to mention the score. Trying to be respectful here. And their next exhibition game is this Friday as they host Bowie State. All right, on to the Washington Wizards. We can't go anywhere in this show without our Wizard segment. That being said, they came off a road trip. Obviously, things didn't go as well as they planned. Much of that was their own doing. So, Cardell, just want to share a couple thoughts. You know, you and I texted back and forth, talked during the road trip, obviously. How do you think things went?
I think it went kind of good. They improved defensively. You know, even against the Warriors, it was a close game at the end. But, you know, prior to that, teams was getting whatever they wanted. Against the Warriors, they at least took away the 3 ball, which is the Warriors' weapon, which kept the game close. You know, they just kind of, you know, fell apart at the end. You know what I'm saying? When KD hit a couple of big shots to put them up, you know, then guys were pressing. But then it came full circle against the Kings. I know everybody like, man, it's the Kings, but they are NBA checks too. So it came full circle. They pretty much, you know, they did whatever they wanted to the Kings. You know, John Wall got off to a hot start. You know, I think he scored, 11? You know, out of the Wizards' first 13 in the first quarter.
First time this year, well.
Yeah, exactly. So, and one thing I was looking at with their defense, they held the Kings to 39% from the field and 27% from 3. You know, that's ideal now. Like I said, it's the Kings, but if they can kind of hold teams to that, you know, low 40s in field goal percentage and definitely in the low 30s for 3-point, then they got a chance. You know, obviously, you know, stop turning the ball over. But for them, it's defense. They score enough. I think they're averaging, 111 points and holding opponents to 105. You know what I'm saying? And even the turnovers, they're forcing 19 turnovers a game. We're nearly almost 20 with 19.7, but they're only averaging 14. And that's where Wall kind of being high at 4.3. So you know, they had all season they've shown flashes. They just got to be consistent on that end.
Right. I thought it was a great point that you brought up because prior to the road trip, the games that they had at home, especially against Detroit, they just weren't defending the 3-point line. You know, shooters were open, getting comfortable shots. As you said, against the Warriors, taking away the 3 ball is huge for them. But the Kings aren't – I know the Kings are the Kings, but they've been competitive many games this year. For them to handle the Kings how they should have handled the Lakers, which is what we learned on that road trip. You know, if they went into the Lakers game the correct way, no disrespect to the Lakers and Kings, but if you're the Wizards and you see yourself as part of the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference, you need to handle your business and handle it thoroughly against lesser teams. Like, that's the place you want to be at, so that's how I'm going to talk about them going forward. That's what I believe Washington sees themselves as. And for you to be that team, that's the type, you have to set that type of tone every night.
Get them about it.
Yeah,
it's like they were sitting in the fourth, you know.
Exactly.
And you know, I'm going to give props where it's due, man, to their forwards, Otto Porter and Kelly Oubre. You know, the big thing was where they improved because they're vital. Obviously, to get out the East, you're going to have to go through guys like the Greek Freak and LeBron. And it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it if you want to come out the East. So, I mean, I'm looking at them, and they're improving not just on, like, one end. They're improving, like, in all aspects. You know, I'm looking at, you know, Oubre, he's averaging 11.5 points, 6.2 rebounds, 1.3 steals, and a block a game on 45% shooting. and 44% shooting from 3, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So keep in mind, he's really was paid to be the 6th man, but Morris had to get surgery. So imagine with Morris, you know, when he get back, how vital is how big it is going to be for the bench. It's going to make the bench so much deadlier. And then Porter, you know, people's question like, is he worth the money? Man, he's playing the best basketball of his career. He averaging 18.7 points, 7.5 rebounds. I think a team leading 2.7 steals a game on 55% shooting from the field and 51% shooting from deep. I mean, you know, with that combination, LeBron and Greek Freak, they, you know, when they meet up with those guys, they gonna have to deal with they have to deal with those two, and that's the biggest thing I see. And you know, keep in mind with the versatility, I think, you know, they switch between the 3 and the 4 depending on matchups. You know, with the versatility that they have in that lineup, you know, that's what, you know, why the Wizards look like they can come out the East if they play consistent defense.
And that's everything what you just talked about with those two. And we saw just having to account for Otto and Kelly and the way that they're hunting for their shots, not just waiting. You seeing Kelly now utilizing that pump fake. Last year, the corner 3, he either took it or he passed it. That was it. Now you got enough confidence, up fake, 1 dribble, pull up, and still take the 3. Up fake, put it on the floor, attack the rim, create for somebody else. Otto's on a whole different place right now.
Like he's at the All-Star level right currently. Like I can't even front.
But you're speaking facts. Look what it did to Golden State. Because obviously Golden State comes to that game. You're focused on that backcourt. Otto's been he's been leading the way almost every game this year for the Wizards offensively at the start of the game. So ideally, think about that. If you're John and Brad, and you know that's the 3rd guy, and that 3rd guy is leading the way early, like you said on Twitter, I think it was a couple games ago, you got John and Brad taking their time to get involved in the game, and you can kind of pick your spots to which you really want to exert your energy to take over a game. And the other thing was Otto is even against Golden State, he was really the guy getting it going late. A couple, they weren't great offensive possessions. Hit that bailout 3 in the corner, you know, with KD trailing off him. KD was a couple steps off of rotation from John, but it's different now. He had a tough fall away. Him hunting for a shot changes the way you have to account for that team.
Exactly, man.
And again, it's early. It's so early, but we told you guys what to expect out of Otto. We told you guys what to expect out of Kelly. Now it's just about seeing them, like you said, they just got to get consistent defensively because they're a team. When they're fast enough and athletic enough, when they get stops, they can run.
And not just that, you know, I also want to see when Marquise get back, like look at the versatility. What if he's playing a 5 and then you got those 2, then Bill and Wall? You know, it's like good luck because you really have to, you can't help at all. You know, but they got to, you know, be on the out, you know, they got to kind of be on the string defensively. And John Wall, you know, he got to become more efficient, you know what I'm saying, and take care of the ball more. Like right now, officially, he's the weak link in the starting lineup. You know, he's shooting 39% from the field, 33% from 3, and he shot way better against the Kings. You know, he's just off the start, but still, you know, what if he was at the efficiency level from last year combined with the improvement with Oubre and Porter? And, you know, and like he's 6th in the league in turnovers at 4.3. He got to tone that down, get that, you know, even the high 2s maybe we cool with, you know what I'm saying? But all in all, you know, once they get full strength, the potential was there. Like they can definitely rumble. I mean, everybody kind of giving the Cavs, but I don't see why they feel like they can't beat the Cavs. You know, it's just they just got to do it.
Exactly. So that concludes our Wizards segment. The first segment of our show is now complete. We got a special guest calling in. Going to take a quick break, and when we get back, I'm going to talk to Coach Keith Byrd from Montgomery College. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to The Focus, and we want to welcome head coach Keith Byrd to the show. How you doing tonight, Coach Byrd?
Wilson, how you doing this evening?
Doing great, man. We're so happy to have you call in, man, and look forward to hearing what you have to say. Cardell, the floor is yours, sir.
All right, man. What's going on, Coach?
Hey, Cardell, how's it going?
Not much, man. You know, ready to get this started. My first question for you is, you know, something I kind of wondered from afar. What has been the key to y'all success at Montgomery College?
Well, you know, coming into Montgomery College, one of the things that I wanted to, you know, me being a former player at Montgomery College, there were some things that I wanted to kind of get back to sort of the winning tradition. And, you know, the winning tradition had very little to do at the time, at my early stages, had very little to do with the actual game of basketball. It had more to do with building up the idea that guys have to commit to the classrooms, guys have to commit to things in the community. And from there, from there is where you can actually build from, because you really get the character. So that's one of the things that me coming in was very important, was making sure that we had good, solid character guys around, and that the X's and O's and all the teachings and all that stuff will kind of just play itself out.
Okay. As you corrected me earlier, 45-18 record over the last 2 seasons. It's an expectation at that program for winning. What do you do as a coach to kind of guard against complacency with the team?
Well, the unique thing about about junior college is that every year you sort of have to reinforce your message, and every year you get a new group in, and you have to remind them that the group before you worked hard, and you have to stay on par or work harder than they did. So when you have that sort of short-term history in place, it's kind of it's easier for me now to kind of to motivate them, because you don't have to look too far away. And we've had a good recruiting class for the last 3 years now, and I think that class itself, they're more eager to either be better than the years before, or just work harder. And then also you throw in there, you have character guys like Patrick, and that pretty much communicates with those guys that are still here. So and prior to Patrick, it was D'Angelo that sort of that said, hey, look, I'm passing the baton to you. Let's keep the momentum going.
Funny you bring those 2 players up, because they're part of my next question. You had D'Angelo and Patrick have obviously been the last 2, Maryland Juco Player of the Year. They came from your program. How good are the odds that sophomore guard Ramel Davidson will make it 3 in a row?
Well, I tell you, Ramel has a different sort of style of play than both of those guys. D'Angelo was just a special guy. I mean, D'Angelo was a guy that can score at high volume and can put up numbers, high-scoring numbers any given night. And then you follow that up with Patrick, a guy that was able to do 2 things, right? He was able to score, and he was able to rebound, and he rebound pretty double-digit rebounds and double-digit scoring for a good part of the season. But Ramel is a little different, and Ramel is someone that can do a lot of things. So he can score, he can rebound, but then he also can do some of the things that many times gets overlooked. He can get steals. He can cause deflections. I think one thing Ramel will be able to do is allow us to have more possessions. And I say that because I think he's going to contribute a lot more on the defensive end than some of the guys I've had in the past. So I think that his ability to sort of follow in their footsteps will be there, but it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same sort of 2 categories, the only 2 categories that people would be looking at this year.
Okay, it's often been said that WCAC, is the best high school conference in the country. How did coaching at Good Counsel prepare you for the collegiate level, being a head coach?
Well, I tell you, you can't prepare for the speed of the game any better than coaching in the WCAC. Every night you're coaching against a kid that's a big-time player, right? So every night you're playing against a team that's getting the ball up the court. No one's walking the ball up the court. These guys are high-level players. So that transition from WCAC to Montgomery, it has been, it was the best thing that I could have done at the time, was being able to see the speed of the game. And I think that's probably the biggest, easiest transition for me from WCAC to college.
Okay, and as for the Maryland Juco Conference in total, why should 4-year college programs keep a close eye on that league?
The Maryland Juco Conference is, every night you're playing against a solid program, a solid coach, a coach that teams that have, teams that you actually have to prepare for. And a 4-year colleges, many times the notion is that junior college guys, they have to sort of be inserted into a 4-year program as a junior, and then he has to get acclimated pretty quick into the program. Well, these coaches in this conference, they're preparing these guys, okay? These guys are prepared in the classroom. These guys are prepared on the court, and these guys are sort of, ready to go. It baffles me that we don't get more attraction from 4-year schools, because I tell you, there's no night that we take a break off in Maryland JUCO. And I know that these coaches within Maryland JUCO, they prepare every night, and their players are prepared.
Okay, I saw you guys on Saturday at the Jamboree. It's obvious that you guys will have a lot to say about who comes out, who wins the championship, later on in March. But, I wanted to ask you, looking at the size and athleticism and speed that y'all have and everything, the versatility, is this the deepest team you've had?
Is this the deepest team? I think from versatility, yes.
Okay.
I think that we have guys that can play multiple positions. Mm-hmm. I think that we have a good length on our team. I think that we have guys that are willing to play with the same intensity on both sides of the court. So, when looking at that, I think that this team could be special. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We are still in October, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But I think this group could be special if all of those things sort of pan out from now to then.
Okay, and at the end of the season, what would qualify to you as this was a successful season?
What qualifies to me every year is the same thing. Is that we make sure that our student athletes get to college. The wins and losses, they're going to be up, they're going to be down. But if I can see a young man and I can see his parents happy that he is able to go on to a 4-year school, I've done my job. Everything else is just happen to come along the way. But the moment you lose touch with the real goal is, you kind of lose touch with the idea of coaching. And my goal at Montgomery College is to make sure that these young men go into a 4-year school.
All right, Coach Byrd, I just had a quick question for you, if you don't mind. So we heard you talking about your team, just the makeup of your team, that you guys are a pretty versatile bunch. In this day and age in basketball, we're hearing how we're moving to a positionless place.
Right.
Looking at your current roster, how much of an advantage, looking at your group, do you feel that it gives you guys having that type of versatility? And if possible, what would be like maybe the 1 or 2 negatives of it? Because sometimes when you have a lot of versatility, sometimes you make decisions, sometimes either to stick too long with the bigger lineup or go small ball for too long. Just how to juggle that as a coach.
No, that's a good question. The advantage, one of the advantages for the 4-year school is that they have obviously is they have 4 years to kind of get a player acclimated, right? But from a 2-year level, you have a kid that may in high school play the 4, and he is 6'3", 6'4". So now you have to be able to have him on the wing. You have to have him be able to dribble the ball more. So those are the sort of the things that, that our versatility is there, but we're still working with being able to make guys, like you said, positionless. And take them out of their comfort of what they've done for the previous 4 years. So that's sort of, the challenge that where we want guys who traditionally were used to having their backs to the basket, now they have to open up and face the basket and shoot a 15 to 18 foot jump shot. So, versatility is there, but there's still, some development that we have to do from now to the end of the season.
All right. You have anything else, Cardell?
You answered everything.
Well, Coach, thank you for the outstanding answers this evening and the insight. I want to thank you so much for calling in, man. We truly appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck this season.
I appreciate you guys, Cardell. I appreciate every time I look up, I see that you're in the gym. That lets me know that I'm in the right place, man. So I appreciate everything you all do for Maryland JUCO. And if there's anything you need in the future, please feel free to give me a call.
I will do.
All right, Coach Byrd, you have a great evening.
Thank you.
Look, yet again, another stand for Cardell. This just doesn't end.
Here y'all go. definitely how I go.
First thing that popped in my head.
Hold on, what you thought? You thought you were gonna get it like we weren't gonna say anything here? It goes past just ripping on Octavia. It's equal opportunity here. And in my defense, she started laughing first.
Oh boy. Snitches get stitches, and I'm
Man, it's on Halloween too. I'm one of these snitches. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, Octavia's NFC East segment. So we got more gloating every show. I just wait.
AKA the Eagles gloating session.
No.
Oh, you feel like that too, huh?
No, guys, no.
Man, it feel like we get to there. It's just like let's start from the bottom to the top.
I mean,
And she's
it
like,
just makes sense.
trash. Fly, Eagles,
She
fly.
just gonna come in, Eagles 6-1, drop the mic and walk out. It's
Actually,
just-
we're 7-1.
See what I'm saying?
Had to throw that
I
out
had
there.
a tester. See?
See, what we got to do the next time we have a show is, and when she comes in the studio, we got to show y'all how she sits in her chair, just comfortably, looking down at the rest of us football peasants.
She's the Don, you know.
This
We
is
just
so
peasants.
not
Like, we got
true.
look, we got a quick greeting, and she just kicked her feet up in the chair. It was like, oh, you peasants are
You know,
talking
like,
about
Oh,
football.
and
do you know what I'm saying? Your Majesty, would you like a drink of water? You know.
I would like some grapes.
Y'all are too much.
But we watching the Focus. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we get back, we're gonna continue at Octavia's NFC East segment for the week. Fly Eagles, no? Okay. Well, welcome back to the Focus. It's that time of show again, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn my mic back off and find something else to do. There you go, Octavia.
Perfect. Yeah. So, okay. Of course, this is the NFC East segment. So we're going to start with the Giants. They're on a bye, so it's not much to talk about. They're still 1-6. Their next game is going to be against the Rams. So we can go ahead and scoot past that. I can't get serious with y'all. Okay, so of course it was the legendary battle between the Redskins and the Cowboys this week. Wait, what happened?
Go ahead and finish your segment first, and I'll say something.
I can't say it. You know, they have this big thing every year. What?
So disrespectful.
I don't get it. I'm being serious.
The whole time you're so disrespectful. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't even mean to be. Okay. Their rivalry, is that a better word? I don't understand.
It's really not a rivalry. Cowboys fans send me the record overall. It's not a close, but go ahead.
Hey, but you know, it's their rivalry. Redskins are now third in the NFC East. They lost to the Cowboys, who are now second in the NFC East. The Redskins are now 3-4, and the Cowboys are now 4-3. Cowboys came to FedEx Field at 4:25. Of course, everybody knows it was bad weather. It was raining basically the entire game. Of course, that's never an excuse, but it happened. So Kirk Cousins ended up being 26 of 39, 263 yards, and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Robert Kelly had 8 carries, 19 yards, 1 touchdown, and Jamison Crowder was the leading receiver with 9 of 13, 123 yards, 2 carries, and 12 yards. So obviously, Jamison Crowder is starting to give them those flashes that they've been looking for. I'm sure they want that to turn into more touchdowns and things, but it's kind of hard where, you know, Kirk Cousins has to pass him the ball. So one big thing, of course, the Redskins are going through a lot of issues with injuries. Their entire offensive line has been makeshift, going in and out. I definitely know how that feels because our offensive line was like that last year as well. But Trent Williams, Brandon Schaaf, and Spencer Long were inactive. Then a bunch of the replacements got injured as well. So it's kind of rough for them right now for their offensive line. So it is going to be tougher for the running game to get started, and then the running game has to happen so the passing game can happen. So definitely they need to address those issues. One good note, Josh Norman did return from his broken ribs, but Bashaud Breeland was out this week as well. You know, they started the game off well against the Cowboys, got a strip sack in the first series for the Cowboys. You know, Elliott doesn't fumble much. It seems like they say he only fumbles against the Redskins. So they only turned it into 3 points. Then the Cowboys came back with a touchdown from Elliott, and then they even responded with a touchdown from Kelly. But, you know, it was kind of hard for them to get the game going. No running game, of course, like I said. The defense did try to hold up as much as possible. I mean, I feel like they tried. You know, it was a a rough game to watch. A lot of Redskins fans that I've talked to said it was a tough game to watch. My dad's a Cowboys fan. He loved it, obviously. But, you know, even on the Cowboys side, Dak Prescott was 14 of 22 for 143 yards. He did not throw a touchdown. Elliott, 33 carries, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know, another back-to-back great performance from him from last week. Des Bryant was 4 of 6 for 39 yards, and they even had Jones on the defense had a 21-yard interception at the end of the game. So, I mean, I said the Redskins play the Rams next. No, I lied. No, they don't. I'm sorry. They play the Seahawks next. Apologize about that. So, you know, with them not having that offensive line, that's definitely something that they need to address as fast and as soon as possible. Because if you paid attention, the Seahawks and the Texans had a really good shootout happening this week. So, kind of hard. But like, on the Cowboys side of it, at least, their next game is going to be against the Chiefs. So, they definitely have some work cut out for them as well. So, it's going to be very interesting in the NFC East next week as well. Dan Bailey is out as far as their kicker right now. I believe they say he has an ankle injury or a groin injury, something. So Mike Nugent took over. First kick didn't go well, 48-yarder, wide left. But he came back. You know, he was basically 4 or 5 on his field goals. All of them were at least 30-plus, and he made all of his extra points. So that was a good sign in the right direction. But, of course, the Cowboys definitely want to get Dan Bailey back as soon as possible. It took their defense a little bit of time to get started where you wouldn't think it would because of how the Redskins' offensive line was. But it took them a little time to get started. But once they did, you know, it was kind of over for that afterwards. But, yeah, you know, it's going to be interesting to see both of those next week. You know, that game was a big game for both teams because it changed basically their position in the NFC East. Take the Cowboys from 3rd to 2nd, and the Redskins go back from 2 to 3. And then, of course, my Eagles, 7-1 in the NFC East. We played the 49ers this week, 33-10. You know, and Carson Wentz was 18 of 32, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. By far, not one of his best games, but, you know, they say you're supposed to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. So, at the end of the day, that's what they did. Chris Clemens, 10 carries, 54 yards. Alshon Jeffries, 2 receptions, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. Obviously, we're still missing Jason Peters. It's still hard because, you know, I believe Wentz got sacked 3 times. You know, so that's definitely something that they want to address. I ain't going to say his first name, Vaitai. Hello. Yeah, him. Vaitai is still, you know, trying to get acclimated to the position. They did pick up another backup just in case, but we'll see how that goes. Michael Kendricks is balling out, especially in the absence of Jordan Hicks. So that's amazing. As well as, you know, the defense is doing it all. Jalen Mills is proving a lot of doubters wrong. You know, he had another interception this week, pick 6, and it was a good run back as well. Although Fletcher Cox I didn't even see the play. Did anybody see it?
Oh, you thought I was watching?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That I'm trying to be nice.
It was some hit Fletcher Cox put on Joe Staley, broke his orbital bone.
Okay, so.
And it was on the interception return.
Allegedly, I heard about that pretty much.
But the view, I just couldn't see what happened.
So I don't even think it happened on that play because from the Niners beat writer, supposedly happened on a sack.
Oh, okay.
When he got Beathard, he got up underneath Staley's visor. It got him in his eye. So nothing's wrong with his actual eye, but the bone around his eye, he messed up.
Because I just know that after that play, that's when they showed him on the ground, and you could see the blood coming off his face. But
he's out for a couple weeks.
Oh, okay. Dang. Yeah, but another quick note, picked up Jay Ajayi. See how that's going to work out. They're still saying right now LeGarrette Blount is still going to be the starting running back, but I'm excited to see the dynamic between the two, although, you know, we've had a lot of running backs coming in and out ever since Sproles got injured, trying to fill that type of position for him. So it's going to be interesting. Next game is going to be against the Broncos. I'm very excited to see how that's going to go. I don't know if Cardell's going to talk to me next week, but we'll see. I'm optimistic, but, you know, it's the NFL. You never know what can happen.
Don't try to be fake humble.
I am.
So fake humble,
I have to because this is why I have to, and this is why I don't talk that much trash. Like I do sometimes, but I try to rein it in because I've seen this before. I've seen us start really, really well. I've seen us look like, although I will be completely honest, I haven't seen us look this well in a long time. But they've had flashes of this in the past, and it starts off great, and then once we get down to the end of the season, it all goes to the wayside. So I'm still very, very cautious every game until we get to at least till we get to this bye week. If we can get into this bye week at 8-1, I feel a little bit better. But in the NFL with the trade deadline coming up and all of these different pieces moving around and everything, you never know what can happen. So I'm just excited to see the games next week and report back.
Elway sign Cap and stop playing games, man.
All right, so the only thing I had to add on the Eagles was just the J.A. Ajayi move. That was robbery. I love how the media accidentally came out this morning, and all of a sudden that the guy has bad knees, so that was cute. Magically, he has a magical knee issue, and that's why the Dolphins got rid of him. Stop it. That's just the Dolphins being bad. That's why they're bad. Bad teams do bad things. You gave up a good player for literally nothing to the Eagles. That doesn't hurt them at all. And the biggest thing for him, like, this hurts like Smallwood.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's Smallwood, Clemens, and Barner and all of them, like, they're going to have to sit back down now for a while. Well, I mean, you still don't really know. But to be completely honest, like, it's Jay Ajayi over them, of course. But just because they know the offense and, they come in every now and then and do those plays that Sproles used to do. So that's why I'm interested to see how they're going to work him in and how they're going to work those other players out.
Honestly, I think it's going to be LeGarrette, and I think Jay's going to be on the field for third down because unlike everybody else on that team, he knows how to blitz pick up. Mm-hmm. He knows how to pass protect. And, we see Carson doing all these magical things, Houdini tricks to get out of things. If you're running back a block, he won't have to do all those crazy magical things as much. So I think Jay's definitely going to get the third down look. So I'm interested in seeing how they – I think the little guy's going to phase out a little bit because Jay can do some of those things. I don't think any of those other guys are like Sproles, but shout out to the Eagles for being proactive instead of sitting on their laurels at 7-1. You saw a guy that
because I was surprised. I was like,
I think everybody. I was talking to Rob earlier. I think everybody was surprised about the trade deadline today. But that being said, rapid fire is next, and Cardell, what you got for us this week? I got a preview of the questions though, so haha.
Cheater.
We had that. It was for technical purposes. Look,
you ain't got to explain.
It's cool.
That.
I like the
something.
surprises. It's cool.
Exactly.
See how matter of fact.
When Rodney come back, it be over, baby. You be back to normal. But Mr. Richard Sherman, after the L to the Texans, he said Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback we faced. Seattle has faced Aaron Rodgers and Eli Manning among others so far this season. Do you agree?
I think it's so hard to say that off the break. Don't get me wrong, Deshaun Watson is doing amazing, but you can't disrespect Aaron Rodgers like that. Eli probably, but
that's NFC East. Go ahead.
No, that's just Eli. that's just him. But I mean, I could see him saying that, as far as because maybe he's a younger. He's younger, he moves around maybe a little bit faster or, and maybe just how he sees the game and how he sees the field and everything may be a difference. But I do think it's a slight disrespect to Aaron Rodgers. I can't remember everybody else they've played against. But, I mean, this is opinion, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of conflicted when you first told me about that quote and saw it, and I went back and forth about it. The only reason why, I do get what you're saying is it's like Aaron Rodgers, but they've seen Aaron Rodgers a couple of times, and the Seahawks have the edge in that matchup. So no disrespect to Aaron Rodgers, but there was a while there for a couple of years when Green Bay didn't beat the LOB. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's on Aaron, just saying. But you got to give Deshaun maybe another crack at him before you say that, he's literally the best. I think he gives them some of the annoying things that Cap used to do, where Seattle had issues with somebody who made up their mind quick in terms of when to leave, move around in the pocket, because the way that defense is constructed, those type of things, it's just different. And then with the weapons that he has, it's special, but you got to give him another go round because they've seen Aaron a couple times, so you got to let Deshaun see him a couple times. So I'm kind of with you on that. It's kind of
I just feel like he was just caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
A great performance.
Yeah, because it was a great game.
I mean, and then you got also sometimes with a rookie, it's surprising because you don't know what to expect from that rookie. Yeah. So he caught him off guard. Aaron Rodgers, they've seen him multiple times. They watched him for years. So it's easier to game plan for him. Next time, it'll be a different game plan and stuff like that. But, he might have been the best quarterback, had the best performance this season.
Right.
But no, I'm not taking him over Aaron Rodgers right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think I kind of think that's what Richard Sherman really meant.
Mhm.
But he just misspoke a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he balled. So he keep it up. Somehow get him in the playoffs or whatnot, then it speaks for itself. Easily rookie of the year, so it's not even close. So, you know how that go. Let's see. Stephen A. Smith from ESPN said the new NBA warm-up hoodies by Nike have no place being worn on the bench in the NBA. He went on saying it will make white folks in the audience feel this is Trayvon Martin revisited. Thoughts on that?
I need him to stop. Just stop. Just stop. And the thing about it is, I like Stephen A. Smith. I get that he's controversial, and I like that he speaks his mind, but that's just stupid. Like, what does... Like, I don't even have really words for it. It's a marketing thing. I really think it's all playing off of this whole Hoodie Mellow thing from the off season. And they're like, let's turn this into something. Let's turn it into a profit, turn it into some type of marketing. And it's a good look. They probably get cold on the bench. Like, what? They can't have on a hoodie? That's just, you're doing the exact same thing that you don't want people to do, to make them feel like they're less of a person or they're a thug if they have a hoodie on the bench. Like, what does that have anything to do with Trayvon Martin because he had on a hoodie? Like, so nobody can wear hoodies anymore? That's where we're going with this now? I think it's a reach. I think he just needs to pull it back in, calm it back down, go back to your other conversations about, actual playing. We're analysts. We're supposed to be analyzing the game, not what they're wearing.
I'm going to take a piggyback off the getting caught up in the moment thing. Sometimes you get caught up in the moment, say some things for clicks and views and whatnot. That thing had no merit to me whatsoever. They're wearing hoodies. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
That's just me personally.
I had 3 takes from it. One, I do think is marketing, because the hoodie Mellow thing this summer and
it just went
everything.
crazy,
Nike's hasn't been number one for. They're smart. They caught on real quick.
It was like, you get everybody hoodies.
Exactly, and they're back being the apparel maker for the NBA. So why not? You know what I'm saying? That's one. 2, something people may be overlooking, I think, is also a subliminal protest, where it's not real controversial, but it's their way as a league as a whole wearing that. You know what I'm saying? Right. On the bench. And 3, Melo's not the first basketball player to wear a hoodie in warm-ups. We're in the Northeast. If you played basketball growing up in the Northeast, you gonna experience some cold gyms. You come out, you like, wait a minute. Nah, you go back in there, put a hoodie, put the jersey over your hoodie, and you warm up to the ref or the coach like, all right, man, it's time to suit up. You trying to get warm so you can play. I know I did. I did it almost every college game I had, camps, because it gets cold. Sometimes you go in the gym, they just, especially weekend games, they just turn the gym on right when y'all about to play. Especially if it's a tournament, you the first game, come out there, you talk and you see your breath and everything. You like, hold up, man. I had a couple of point guards one game, they had the North Face on warming up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. I definitely feel like he definitely reached, and it's dangerous for him because of his platform to reach like that, because of the racial tension right now. You giving these type of people ammo, to come at people. So come at us. So be careful what you say.
Them things kind of fly though. I want one. So.
Yeah, if they, no disrespect, stop ripping. I'm not trying to pay all that money rip. But WNBA star Breanna Stewart said she was molested as a child from ages 9 to 11 by a man who lived in one of the houses of a relative. We see more and more of these cases emerging in all different fields, all around the country, all around the world. Is this an epidemic that needs to be addressed strongly?
I would say yeah, because to be completely honest, like, when these people come out and say these things, I'm shocked, because it's like it feels like it happened to everybody. And I'm not trying to downplay, that it happened to those specific people, but it's like, was that the norm? Like, because I feel like everybody has had some type of situation like that, and it's like, if that's the case, if you guys have all had this type of situation, it's definitely something that needs to be talked about so that we can find a way to stop it. Because if we don't talk about it and nobody knows what's going on, how can you address it? So I give them props for being strong enough to come out and say that these things happen to them. I just want people to actually do things that's going to work towards stopping those type of things from happening. And that's why talking about it, letting kids know that, she's 20 odd years old now, and she was 9 and 10. So that was almost 10 years ago. You want to get kids that's happening to in this moment to speak up. So, you know, I feel like the sooner people are able to speak up about it, the more you're able to stop it and nip it in the bud. But, like, you know, I'm blessed that nothing like that has ever happened to me, so I don't know, and I don't know how it feels to be able to, you know, come out and say that and be in that space and be in that mind frame. But I definitely think it's something that needs to be talked about more, and I don't know what we would have to do. You know, I feel like that would be a big brainstorming type of situation where we have to figure out a good way to try to alleviate things like that, but it's hard, you know, and it's definitely very, very sad.
Yeah, I just, you know, obviously feel for her to hear something like that. And then, you know, just proud of her from the fact that it's courageous to step up on a national platform to say it. And even if you're not a prominent athlete or prominent figure, just to kind of own it and say it and get to a place that you can finally talk about it, I think it's courageous. So, I mean, I'm with you on everything that you said. It's something that needs to have awareness brought to it, and it needs to be stopped, and hopefully give people the courage that it may unfortunately currently be happening to speak up quicker than, you know, someone else may have in the past, somebody else that went through it.
I agree with both of y'all, but I just want to add something else. Men, we as men got to do a better job, man, protecting our, you know, daughters and wives, girlfriends, whatnot. It's just too much neglect going on. And, like, I don't know the situation with later that, who knows, you know, like you said. But, and, you know, I'm very in tune with my daughters, and I would notice if, you know, you're going to act different. You're not going to just keep walking the same way. Something's going to be different. And you best believe I'm going to be doing investigating and seeing, you know, they going over this relative. Ever since they started going, something ain't been right, you know what I'm saying? And then if I find out that's what it is, homie, a dead man. You know what I'm saying? So we have to do a better job of protecting our, you know, our ladies and our families. It's just too much of this going on where people act like they don't know nothing. Well, why aren't you paying attention? What's going on?
Yeah, it's like people need to be aware. Like, I don't even know if they have to have, like, some type of classes where you can tell signs, like you said, like you can tell that they're changing. Like, what does that mean? Like, you know, they're going to act different. And even to that same point, though, you know, even as men, you know, protecting wives and mothers and daughters and everything like that, I just feel like us as people, too, because it happens to men, too, you know, and that's the sad thing about it, too. And, you know, a mother is supposed to protect her son just like a father is supposed to protect his daughter. So I just feel like everybody needs to pay attention more. You know, it could have been her mom that wasn't paying attention. It could have been her dad that wasn't paying attention. You know, and she may not have felt safe enough to come out and say that. So I feel like we all need to do something, but definitely men, because, you know, they're supposed to be the protector and the provider. So.
But not even just that. I mean, we grow up around dudes, conversations. You hear a lot of dudes, older dudes, even when I was younger than that condone.
That's true.
They cool with getting with young girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm looking at them like, you see what I'm saying? Like, they condone it. And if they condone it, then people hanging around them condone it. That's why I'm like, as men, we gotta start checking that, because you know, like, what's in the dark comes to light eventually. So if you know that's going on, you need to get on them. But a lot of times, too many people be like, I mean, you see situations all the time. You could just be walking down the street, you be a situation, and people just turn a blind eye. They ain't got nothing to do with me until it affects them. Then they want help. So we gotta do a better job as a whole, because it's just too much, man. You see the stuff going on in Hollywood. I'm like, man, God, jeez, man, like what?
Yeah, it's wild.
Y'all grown the man, like, y'all can't go get with a woman or something. Like, man, this is sheesh, man. It's a sick time. Kobe Bryant said he would ask Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson to present him for the Hall of Fame in 2021, a loaded class that includes Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan. Is it fitting?
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. That should definitely happen.
Like, one is amazing that you have a choice between those two.
It's like, so which one can I go?
Blessings on blessings that those are two of your options. I hope they both show up and present you. But yeah, it's fitting, man. However he wants that to happen, definitely deserving of. That's going to be a special class, special time. So I'm just looking forward to when that time comes to see all the wonderful people that get up to talk, you know, those being honored and those honoring them.
No. With the Cavs losing to the Magic, Nets, and Knicks by nearly 20 points a game each, does that make the East wide open?
I still always feel like we're like we said, we're very early in the season, but I think it makes it more interesting. I think it can do one of two things. It can make Cleveland feel like, well, I mean, we're still just getting our foot in, we're trying to get everything together, or it can make them open their eyes, like, you know, it's people out here that's really coming for our necks. Like, it's really people that's tired of seeing LeBron go to the conference finals and go to the championship and everything like that. So I definitely think it makes it more interesting. I'm excited to see what happens. I just don't want to hear LeBron start crying. That's what I don't want to hear. I don't got no help. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it at all.
Well, some people say he cool with the results because that'd be a good reason for him to roll.
Look,
Oh, well.
I told you where I stand on that. So he's just really happy, dressing up as it at Halloween. They had allegedly they had a
sure with that. He
players,
look accurate with that. Don't be walking in the dark down the street with that boy. I'm trying to
He's
tell
too
you.
big for that, too.
Man, you getting lit up like.
reportedly they had a players only meeting before practice already. We like 7 games into the season.
I mean, yeah.
So take that for
That's-
what
that's
you
that
will.
time.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. As of right now, they're still the top, but I think that gap significantly smaller than it has been in the past.
No, no, you
with the rest of the East.
you gotta give them the respect because
Yeah.
even though they start off, they can still. They know what to do
Yeah.
to turn it on when it's time to turn it on, and then they can end up back in the finals. Everybody like, oh, so you gotta give them that respect. They done it, been there, done that. Washington left tackle Trent Williams said he isn't sure he would be able to finish the season thanks to a painful right knee. What are your thoughts?
I should go last.
Oh boy, I forgot.
It's unfortunate for the Redskins, but you know, it's the NFL, man. It's next man up. Somebody got to step up to the plate.
True.
Really big shoes to fill. So that's my my PC answer right there.
My PC answer is it's definitely sad for him as an individual and as a player. You know, you never want somebody to get hurt and, you know, their livelihood be in jeopardy. So you definitely want to say that. But as far as, you know, and like you said, in the NFL, I guess next man up, it sucks to say that injuries happen every day, and it's always going to be something that's going to happen to somebody, unfortunately. So, you know, these players have to make sure that they rehab, they prehab, they're taking care of their body. And then sometimes it is just freak accidents and things happening, like Zach Miller. Like, he almost lost his leg.
Yeah.
Like they legitimately said like they would have almost had to amputate his leg if they couldn't get those nerves to regenerate to get the blood flow to come back. So I mean, like it sucks that, you know, that people put their livelihoods on the line for a game that they love, and, you know, yes, they're getting paid for it, but still it's their lives. So you never want to have that happen to anybody. But, you know, as an Eagles fan, you know, might be a little bit, but we don't play them no more, so I'm good, you know.
All right, last question. Patriots traded for Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, traded Jimmy Garoppolo to the Niners for a 2nd-round pick. Wilson.
Hey. Best news of my night. I mean, my team's no longer has to be in the DC media circus of the Kirk Cousins running. So I capped my night off very happily. Went to sleep with a big old smile. I got a great night of sleep. Them 6 hours were wonderful. Woke up so refreshed because I knew that we were officially out of the Cousins runnings. And, you know, shout out to him and whoever gets him, whether he's here, wherever he's there, wherever he goes. I'm anxious to see what happens with Jimmy G because obviously sometimes there's buyer's remorse with Patriots quarterbacks. The only thing that I'm actually that's kind of different for me, at least looking at this, is this felt like for Patriots trades, how they usually go, is they're usually traditionally extremely one-sided. This didn't feel too much that way. Digging into some background, Shanahan feels comfortable with the guy. Shout out to him I want to give credit to that new management for identifying that Brian Hoyer was a bad decision. You cut him. You know what I'm saying? For not riding with stuff past time, you made a mistake. You benched him. You made another mistake, seeing CJ's not the guy in a couple games or what have you, or didn't even want to continue to go down that road when you found out Jimmy G was available. You acted on it. You have to get your guy because, you know, even though they got 5 more years together, GM and coach, you got to get your guy as soon as possible. If you felt like Jimmy's your guy versus somebody in college, so be it. Go get your guy. I'm not going to judge anybody for going to get your guy. Cleveland offered a first round pick for him before the season started. You got him for it too. I'm cool with it, man. I don't really care what happens for the rest of this year. All the important people stay healthy. I don't care what Jimmy looks like this year, honestly, because whatever he's playing with this year, as quick as it seems like the Niners front office already moved on to next year. So whatever you take from the rest of these games this year, I also don't think he's going to play until Joe Staley comes back and Trent Brown comes back. So it doesn't matter too much. I'm just looking at the draft now because now, you know, everybody knows me. I was clamoring for Lamar Jackson. Got a quarterback.
We need him.
Yes, you do. We did too. We still might go into next year's draft. Now I get to look at different positions like maybe Saquon Barkley, things of that nature at the top of the draft because we're 0-8. We're not winning 8 straight games. Horrible year. Make the most out of it, but I'm cool with it, man. I'm at peace.
Yeah, I think it's a good look. Like you said, you know, you gotta find a guy as soon as possible to start getting, like you said, looking forward to the next season. To me, it was also interesting because it kind of gives you an idea that the Patriots are also thinking that Tom's probably going to play at least 2 to 3 more years.
Yeah, it's time to go
You know,
later.
so but to even move on that, you know, if they were holding on to him thinking Tom might be done after this year or next year, but to let him go and feel comfortable enough to be like, all right, we know he'll be all right for at least, he's going to play for 2 to 3 years, at least that's his intention. But I am interested to see, you know, if they pick somebody else up as a backup for him, who they pick up, what they're going to do to kind of, you know, because they got to figure out post Brady as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Everything going on in the NFL right now is interesting. Kelvin Benjamin got traded to the Bills. I don't know what's going on.
Hey, shout out to the Bills because at first it seemed like they had cold feet about committing to Tyrod. Went out and got him another weapon. So shout out to them for that. And then my last little nugget on the Jimmy G thing, I also took it not so much as from the Brady standpoint with the quarterbacking, but that defense has been kind of horrible to start the year.
Yes.
I think that second round pick is so key because one, I think it took a lot for him to move on from Jimmy G. Secondly, you put him in the NFC, you don't got to see him, but maybe accidentally once. You don't see him at all, right? He's far away. And I also think they looked out for Jimmy kind of because you could have took the first rounder from Cleveland if it was literally just about value, right? You sent him to somewhere that maybe it would have been better for him. You match him with Kyle, but that second round pick is probably going to be top 3 pick in the second round. They love the second round picks. You're going to get a really good defensive player right there. And we see what their defenses look like. Obviously, they kind of found a grip for the last, 3-4 games or whatever. But that could be a cornerstone piece defensively. Or it could be a quarterback. Nobody knows, but that's a great piece to have. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in, man. Cardell, thank you so much for Rapid Fire. I want to thank Coach Byrd for calling in, man. Wish him nothing but success this season. Look forward to hearing any updates you have for him. And again, yet another person stating that Cardell spends excessively too much time in gyms. Also, the Wizards are home this week, so we're going to have a bunch of coverage, maybe 5 games within the next 2 weeks at home. Yep. So get over to FoundersMag.com, get over to MyMotorsports.com for focused Wizards coverage.
And GW starting up Saturday, so
man,
I have all that. It's about that time.
It's that season.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Grind season. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. We get you guys. We'll see you guys soon.